A Marxist-Leninist.
Today, I am watching and debunking Hasan's Piker communist propaganda so that you don't have to. Yeah, I'm not going to be reacting to everything because I don't think everything is propaganda. I know automatically everyone out here thinks I'm the devil. I'm not asking you to believe me when I debunk his BS. I'm asking you to prove me wrong. But when the first time I did this, I realized the microphone was not working for the first 9 minutes. So, full disclosure, the first 9 minutes, I'm just going to be re-reacting and debunking the same shit again. Let's get to it.
If you walk into a room now, like you've walked into this podcast, right? How would you introduce yourself? How would you introduce yourself, and how do you think people perceive you when you walk in?
This is an interesting question. I don't think about it at all. But I would introduce myself as I'm Hasan Piker. That's it. If people ask me what I do for a living, I just say I'm a political commentator.
Okay, and then they would say like, oh, what politics do you commentate on?
I just say, well, it depends. If I'm talking to a Border Patrol agent, this did happen. Leaving Canada, there's a hammer and sickle.
That's interesting for someone who doesn't think about it.
It's on the jacket. I'm wearing a Democratic Socialist of America New York City hat. I immediately take it off. I rip the pin off. And the guy's like, oh, what are you doing? He's a day trip. That's strange. I was like, oh yeah, I'm a speaker. And he's like, oh, what do you talk about? Like, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I'm an influencer. And he's like, what do you influence on? What do you speak on? And I was like, well, you know,
so
what's going on with young men.
Politics then.
And I tried to keep it as like broad as possible.
Yeah. Where do you situate yourself? So I want to know if you position yourself in one place, or if you're just a human being navigating. Like, how do you position yourself?
I'm just a normal guy.
A very normal guy with like a super rich family that advocates for communism. Your average guy.
Person. I don't think of myself as like a dangerous radical, obviously. I just want what's best, what I think is best for society.
Which is interesting, because if you look at the majority, under communism, the majority of people seem to be either poor or dead. So I'm wondering which majority, or whether he thinks that America can get communism right.
I would even argue that you have the ability to shift and move people's votes and opinions in the country now.
Apparently, don't talk about that too much though, because everybody gets mad at me.
He did just admit that he's an influencer in the political sphere, though.
When they kept asking me about Hamas, what my thoughts are, I just kept repeating, Hamas is designated as a terrorist organization by the State Department. I just kept repeating that line over and over again.
Which is a fact.
It's just a fact.
Yeah.
He refused to give his opinion, basically.
Of my vibe, but definitely not me.
Say that word.
Yeah. Timothy Chalamet. And he's not Shia, so of course he's not a part of the Houthi movement, not a part of Ansar Allah. He's like, oh, okay.
That is such a cop-out. But when he was interviewing, he did not make sure that he was not Shia, that he was not a terrorist, and the whole shtick was about him supporting the Ansar Allah movement. So
we think the Houthis, Ansar Allah, is doing what Luffy would do. I'm saying it's a good thing.
And as a member of the media, of course I'm going to sometimes talk to members of state-sponsored terrorist organizations. That's a normal part of the process.
No, it's not.
And it's protected by the First Amendment, right?
It's not.
And
you're a Twitch streamer. You can't just go and talk to terrorists because you feel like it.
Administration, they're trying to punish dissidents, and they're trying to erode the First Amendment.
Ultimately, it's about U.S. imperialism that he's dissenting against.
Someone's got to do it, you know? And I the way I see it is like I'm speaking for the most part, voiceless people whose voices are never heard. And
the dictators of Cuba?
What the people were looking for at that point, and are still looking for, really, was an anti-establishment candidate. Someone, because they came at it with the recognition that the system wasn't working for them, right? In all of the different parts of the country that are forgotten, whether it's West, because they came at it with the recognition.
Anti-establishment what? Anti-democracy? What establishment? America?
Ritualistically humiliates the establishment.
Trump was not anti-establishment.
Like a heterodox
Trump was very much
Republican,
establishment.
And there is a very sophisticated influence peddling operation that is actively subverting democracy. So it's not a secret. It's not a secret that Americans are not the most educated. They don't have a lot of political education. They don't have a profound understanding of history. And I think that's by design as well. I mean, our institutions are crippled, public education, public schooling in general.
Admit it, especially when he's taken part of it. 56 minutes. And we're not even on the halfway point.
I've moved on from just talking about how shit the Democrats are to actually working with other on-the-ground groups and organizations like the Democratic Socialists of America and numerous other orgs to actually run candidates that are pro-Medicare for all,
Which
that are
is terrifying. The Democratic Socialist of America is a terrifying organization masquerading.
It's one of the best mayors that New York has had.
No.
It just, every time I come here, it feels like I'm entering an alternative.
I hope very soon not to have to ask you for money.
No,
but
it's
until
not.
then,
Are these
I'm
people
asking.
just like
Like we're watching
talking
from
and
afar,
like pretending that it's
a
great?
totally different
and
reality
while
in New York
it's-
City, totally different
Are
vibe. Why
they
can't we
living
do
in
that?
reality?
Once they have more confidence in good governance, and once they associate that confidence with democratic socialism, communism, people are going to want that. With the DSA, which crossed the threshold of 100,000 paid members, to approval ratings for democratic socialism in general, where I believe it's like, in certain polls, it's like either the plurality or the majority of Democrats say they have sympathies for democratic socialism, or even self-identify. Around like 44% self-identify as democratic socialists within the Democratic Party.
So when you look at the young people in those worlds, then specific, because I'm assuming your audience skews young just because of streaming.
Exactly.
It's an assumption that I have, like on that platform.
Because the younger they are, the more impressionable, the easier it is to convince them in a utopia once they grow up. But human nature is not utopic.
The Democratic establishment is missing about how young people are viewing all of this right now.
That they're being brainwashed.
You're speaking to young people, and young people are watching you in a very specific way.
And it actually is.
And they're all just admitting it.
Yeah. I believe it's 54% of Republicans under the age of 55 have a negative opinion of Israel. That is a crisis for the state. And that's certainly a crisis for Israel in general that cannot exist. If they lose the Republicans, it's over. Okay, Israel's done. I have said way worse things about Israel than that, trust me.
You're talking about the Palestinization of American politics, how suddenly Palestinians that are not even a 0.1% of American population become this one single issue that every young voter is hinged on. Why Israel? Out of all the conflicts in the world, why Israel is the one issue all the young people are obsessed with, to the point that this is the one single issue they're hinged on? Try to prove me wrong on this one. Arabs living in Israel have more rights than Arabs living anywhere else in the world. And if you don't know the difference between Arabs and Palestinians, then don't even come to my comments.
Drives people crazy. It drives like the pro-Israel advocacy groups crazy.
Because you're advocating for our death.
People see that he's a dangerous radical terrorist. Like I go to the Vanity Fair Oscars party and they understandably blame the system for it. So they go, this is not working for me. I need an alternative. And this alternative seems fine. I mean, I'm willing to try this out, even in a country as propagandized, at the heart of empire. I don't believe the Red Scare propaganda, actually, or even if I do believe it, I like it, like you said.
Yeah.
The grass on the other side is not greener.
Like, why streaming? You could have done anything else online, but why streaming in particular?
I came in and I was like, I'm not going to play video games. I'm not very good at video games. I mean, I did play video games initially, but I was like, I want to do political commentary while I play video games and then stop playing video games altogether and just do political commentary. So that was my evolution. And the reason why I did that...
What games were you playing when you started?
Fortnite.
Oh, okay.
And then, horror games that people love.
Playing Hunger Games.
Yeah.
So he's straight up knew that he's going to interject the young sphere. Isn't that just literally bait and switch?
How do you strike the balance between inflaming tensions and inspiring and mobilizing people?
I mean, you got to do a bit of both. I think that's a real problem with the Democratic Party, is that they don't identify enemies. They try to get along with everybody else in their commentary. And I think it's good to just say, like, no, billionaires are bad.
He admits that the Democratic Party has no enemies up to and including the Ayatollah, Cuba.
I have any sort of patriotism in my heart. Yeah, for America.
Say that with my 2 cents in my bank account. All right. Jeff Bezos sucks. I don't know. I feel like those are more serious enemies than Jeff Bezos. But he is not the Communist Party of China.
Dominance.
So I hear what you're saying, but I think some people might hear that and go, so are you saying that we then go to communism? And I don't think that's what you're saying, if I hear you correctly. I
mean, I say I'm not a communist, but people call me that, and I don't have any problems with communism. I think it's a decent endpoint. A classless, moneyless, borderless, successful example of, or a couple successful examples of countries that are run by communist parties.
Yeah.
It's obviously not at its end stage or anything like that, but China is run by a communist party. Vietnam,
China is run
Cuba.
by a communist party out, but they were talking about a bus in this and how they judge the bus by how everyone is doing. And then he basically said that if you put Jeff Bezos in the bus, then the bus is doing well, and if you take out Jeff Bezos, then the bus is doing really bad. So it's really funny how the same analogy of the bus doesn't apply right now to China, because now let's look at the bus, and the bus is China. And you're forgetting that China is 1 point how many billion people? How many people in China, in communist China, are working for how much a day? Let's compare China at its lowest end And how many of these rural areas in China are just doing fantastic in the bus? Oh my God, how many more minutes? Oh God, it's only 1 hour and 22 minutes. And I still have 38 more minutes. Okay, we got this.
It goes beyond that. They are claiming that I'm a subversive, I am a foreign agent that hasn't registered with FARA. And it's really funny because I'm pretty open about my ideology. Like I'm a socialist, and I think we should not kill the Cuban population. We've been starving them for 6 years.
I mean, yeah, he's pretty open about the fact that he's a communist and that he's pushing communist agendas. Isn't that exactly what he's doing? It's very gaslighting. It's like, oh, they're saying I'm like subversive agent. Would you believe that? I think, you know what, it's a very interesting tactic that he brought it up so that he can dismiss it.
We should stop that. And then they go, oh, he must be getting paid by the Cuban government to say this. And it's really funny because it's like, with what money? They're broke. They have no money.
Cigars?
Like, they don't have anything.
Because communism works so great. He just said communism works so great in Cuba and admits that they have absolutely no money, that the country is broke, after he took a trip there in his 10K fit.
And I got a journalism visa on top of the humanitarian aid mission that we were accomplishing.
So you got a journalist visa to Cuba for a humanitarian aid mission. Yeah, because there's so much freedom of press going on in Cuba right now. They just hand those out like candy.
And it's true. I am very successful. I'm very fortunate, right? But it's not at odds with my worldview in any way, shape, or form. It's at odds with how you perceive my worldview, right? I mean, it was Deng Xiaoping who said socialism isn't is it about poverty? To be rich is to be glorious.
So it doesn't. So there's no contradiction. It just means that it's a problem with how I view him. So he can live his life as a wealthy capitalist advocating for communism, and that's just a problem with how I perceive him. Okay.
You look at the SEO. If you're stupid enough not to check or cross-reference this stuff, there's articles out there from like Hindustan Times. There's like Hasan Piker's father is a billionaire.
That's a credible source.
And it's really funny.
It's not a Hindustan Times.
I've read everything on the.
No. That's not what they're saying. Let's Google this. Let's go on a little Google deep dive of what is everyone saying about his dad. Because if it's all out there.
2 hours later.
He is. Maybe, I don't know, maybe his father is not like a billionaire, but he sure as hell got money.
You don't want to participate. You don't want to do things.
And you want to punish people. You want to punish people that you've been taught are responsible for the pain that you're experiencing. And that's why I say it's important to also identify the systems of oppression rather than to let it dangle as though there's nothing wrong at all.
This oppressor-oppressed dichotomy that he keeps going back to, right? He's trying to frame people as this, you're either this oppressor or you're oppressed. Or if you're framed as the oppressor, then your individual experience doesn't matter anymore. And it doesn't matter what you've been through, right? Like, I'm Israeli, I'm the oppressor. It doesn't matter I had to uproot my whole life and move to Canada to escape terrorists. I'm oppressing people. And then he goes about gaslighting.
Certainly not the billionaires. It's certainly not the mega corporations. And when both parties...
Look, I'm not saying don't go after, like, there is different kind of problems, and there's a lot of problems to go around, but look, I know it's very appealing to hate on billionaires, but communism is not going to fix Jeff Bezos.
A Marxist-Leninist. But that's what I want. I want systemic change. And I've never been an advocate for adventurism. That's not a Marxist tradition at all. As a matter of fact, many theorists have regularly criticized adventurism, which many Americans don't even know what it is. But that's like Luigi Mangione is adventurism, like a person that decide allegedly. Thank you. Yeah, you're right. A person that decided to take matters into their own hands. Right. I want to be organized, and I want to change society with diligent and disciplined organizing.
Again, in Marxist, he's straight up just saying, I want a systemic Marxist change. That has always been great, right? Because every Marxist revolution was just so fantastic. Diligent and disciplined organizing. So, like, organized terrorism, organized, what they want, like, organized Luigi Mangione, like, the targets are, like, coming out organized? Or is he, like, diligent and organized and disruptive is something that is extremely alarming to me.
I mean, there's also like wealthy racists out there who are, I think, advancing this propaganda and specifically
wealthy racists. I wonder who and what wealthy racists.
Because naturally people start being more tribalistic in times of economic struggle.
Yeah.
As I like to say at these rallies I go to, you know, they got the money, but we got the people.
Like, what does he plan to do with the people? Because I sure as hell don't think it's unionized.
There's certain groups like the Democratic Socialists of America that have differing opinions on this. Some people believe that they can just like enter the Democratic Party and do entryism and run socialist until the party is a Democratic Socialists of America party, right? Whereas what we're talking about here, the DSA, is directionally on the diametrical opposite side of the political spectrum in comparison to the liberal capitalist Democratic Party, and they recognize that.
Oh my God, he's just
right?
doing
So there's a real. My opinion on this is I recognize that class consciousness is the #1 problem in this country. We do not have class consciousness and we do not have political education. And without class consciousness and political education, you can't have organizing on the basis of class. So in order to foment class consciousness and to engage in agitative propaganda, as as is the Marxist tradition.
Did he just say to engage in agitator propaganda?
And the DSA is very good at instigating class consciousness and also doing political education. It's a massive institution with many different caucuses, and they're constantly fighting one another. You go to the national conference and you're like, I like them all. I have no, I don't have, it's like picking favorite children. You can't do it, right?
Instigating class consciousness and political education. Wow, that sounds fantastic. I wish that people here would learn about Marxist theory in practice. Just send them to the gulag.
You have every different tendency from liberals, social democrats, all the way to Marxist, Leninist, Maoist, third worldists, people who do not participate in democracy at all because they think it's ridiculous and counter-revolutionary. You have all of that, right?
Not be having all of that.
And that is political education. And that is an absolute necessity to make the changes in this country.
See, the thing is that these systems or these methods and these ideologies know how to hijack the narrative and know how to swoop you in. So you know what? I do agree that they should learn about them, but they should also learn about all the harm that they inflicted. And I have a feeling the DSA is not telling them that part.
And I see electoralism as a route to foment class consciousness through proving that alternative modes of governance are viable.
Alternative modes of governance? What are those alternative modes of governance other than democracy that you could be suggesting there?
And that's why I look to people like Zoran as movement leaders in that regard, and many people in the United States of America are self-identifying as liberals. That's mass politics. That's what the social base. That's where the social base is at. They self-identify as liberals because they don't really understand what that means. If you were to pick apart their worldview and offer them a little bit of political education, you might find that they're actually not liberals at all. Maybe they're socialists. Maybe they're Marxists. I believe that it's important to try to push for as many radical candidates as possible and change the political makeup of this unbelievably weak party. That's a weak party. That's a party that you can seize. That's a party that you can take advantage of. Because at the end of the day, I have no loyalty to the brand that is a Democrat. Right? You can have an ideological commitment to a movement. I certainly do. I don't really care how we get there. Another Deng Xiaoping quote I'll use. I don't know why I keep using Deng Xiaoping quotes. Thanks for having me. Yeah, man. This was great. This was a fun conversation.